Hello and welcome to another news episode. In today's video, we're looking at two brand new affordable vehicles which I think are going to be game changers in South Africa. I'm talking about the Hyundai Exter and the Mahindra XUV3X. Okay, music.
Think of a car, any car. Yes, Cars.co.za. Let's find what moves you.
Right, before I get into these two value for money cars which have just launched, I want to address the comments that were directed at me from my last video. Many of you accused me of being on the payroll of Volkswagen. And you know what, guys? I find these comments unacceptable. But all jokes aside, I'm not on the payroll. I can't be on the payroll of any brands because then how will you know my voice and opinion is honest, truthful, and unbiased? The only people who pay my money? Cars.co.za. So, as we all know, there's no denying how the Chinese brands have shaken up the South African motoring landscape, especially in the passenger car space. If you look at the sales figures, which I'll link below, Chery and Naval in August 2024 are comfortably in the top 10 of sales figures. They've elbowed all our favorite legacy brands out the way like Renault, Nissan, Kia, Mazda, so on. I mean, it's quite terrifying. If you're a legacy car maker planner, I mean, it's concerning. Now, last week I spoke about how Volkswagen has kept its last three product launches more or less the same in terms of pricing compared to the outgoing. Now, two brands have just launched very exciting, very enticing offerings. First up, the Hyundai Exter. Now, if you weren't aware, Hyundai is busy fighting Volkswagen and Suzuki and Toyota in the passenger car space. And I think the Exter is going to elbow its way up the sales charts. So, of course, the money is the important one. Priced from 270 to 335,000 Rand, the Exter is coming out swinging. There's a 3-year 45,000K service plan, 7-year 200K warranty, and there are 5 models to choose from. Now, of course, you're probably thinking, oh, this is just a little crossover and there's nothing in it and it's probably unsafe. And if you're involved in a crash, it's going to just crumple like a can. But this is not the case. So I've looked at all the specs. 6 airbags, anti-lock brakes, and the automatic models have stability control. I mean, for me, that's the basics. Stability control, airbags, anti-lock brakes. Under the bonnet here is a 1.2-litre 4-cylinder petrol engine, 61 kilowatts, 140 newton meters. It doesn't sound like much, but when you consider that this vehicle is just under a ton, you don't actually need that much grunt to get going. Plus, you have the benefits of great fuel consumption. On the test route, I was averaging 6 litres per 100. I mean, that's great for a city car. Interestingly, this car was originally meant to be an India-only product. It was never meant for export. But strategically, Hyundai South Africa looked at all the numbers, weighed it up, and went, you know what? This thing is actually a really good car. And we think it'll do well in South Africa. And the rest, as they say, is history, and the first units have touched down. Now, I drove the Hyundai Exter earlier this week, and I came away pretty impressed. I mean, you know it's a cheap car, and it's got a couple of little, irritating gremlins, but you're going, I can actually tolerate this for the money. For 270, 280 grand for the mid-spec model I drove, I'm going, this is actually all right. This is acceptable. Where can you get a car new that costs 280,000 Rand and has got pretty much all the bells and whistles you need for day-to-day driving? I think this car's going to do really well for Hyundai. Next up is the Mahindra XUV3X0, or is it 3XO? I'm not sure. Still trying to understand the name. Either way you look at it, this interesting style baby SUV follows a similar recipe to the Hyundai. It's a lot of car for not a lot of money. But unlike the Hyundai, this has got quite an engine to it. I mean, I've looked on the specs. 1.2 turbo, 82 kilowatts, 200 newton meters, manual and auto available. I mean, that's commendable numbers. This is going to be quite a zippy little thing. The spec sheet goes on to say 5 trim levels, base model from 255 grand. I mean, wow. That seems too good to be true. Now, what Mahindra has done for the value for money proposition is quite interesting. So the entry-level mid-spec models have a 3-year 55,000K service plan. Higher trim has a 5-year 100,000K service plan. And both have 5-year 150,000K warranties. So your after-sales package is, from what I can see, looks to be decent enough. But again, the question for me is always how much spec can you cram inside these affordable crossovers? And Mahindra has knocked it out the park. There's no shortcuts on safety either. Every car, 6 airbags, stability control. But the top spec model, I mean, I looked at this thing thinking, wow, is this a German premium product? Harman Kardon audio, level 2 self-driving, wireless charging, sunroof, USB-C. Wow, that is really good. I will admit I've yet to drive this brand new Mahindra, but if I consider what the outgoing model was, the XUV300, that was a surprisingly capable and comfortable vehicle. And by the time you watch this, we'll have a test unit and either Jacob, Chira, or even myself will have a video review ready for you. I've linked articles on both the Hyundai EXA, very funky looking thing, and the Mahindra XUV3X in the description below. My first impressions, I think these are seriously good value for money offerings. Asset test is going to be where they're going to be sales-wise, and of course we'll check back and do our sales wrap-up at the end of the year. This segment is extremely competitive and everyone is jostling for sales. So the Hyundai and the Mahindra have got a battle on their hands. But, I mean, we live in a cash-strapped society and people want value, and I think these will do well. And that pretty much wraps up this week's video. As always, I value your views, your clicks, your likes, your comments. And if you're after a new or used car, head on over to Cars.co.za. We've got a website, we've got an app, we've got a microsite. We have over 75,000 vehicles for sale. Okay, bye.
What's the car with Cars.co.za? This is Cousin Jose. His shirt is always unbuttoned and his car windows are always down. Chest hair blowing in the wind. Now think of a car, any car. Yes, we have it. Cars.co.za. Let's find what moves you.